Hi everybody, we're going to have a look at factors. So a factor is a number that can divide equally without remainder. Now to find a factor is a bit of a palaver, but let's see if we can find a way that makes sense. So first of all, to find factors of a number, consider the number itself and all the numbers up to half of the number. So let's say for 12, we're going to consider all the numbers up to half of the number. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 12 itself. And we're going to see which of those divide evenly into 12. So starting with 12, I've written 12 lines here. And we're going to use that to see if we can divide them evenly. So we'll start with, say, 2. So if I divide it into two groups, here's one group here and one group here. It divides evenly. There's the same number on either side. In fact, there's 6 in either group. Now, both 6 and 2, the number of groups that we've got, are considered factors of 12. So I've circled them over here, 2 and 6. We have our first two successful factors. And if we look at them numerically, 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6, or 2 times 2 lots of 6, which is what I have here, is equal to 12. We can do it for 3 groups. So if we have 3 groups, each group will have 4 in it. 3 times 4 will make 12, or 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. In all cases, we have nice even numbers. No remainders. So we started with 2 and 6 as factors. We've now added 3 and 4. We've now got 2, 3, 4, and 6 as factors of 12. We still have 1, 5, and 12 to check. So what if we create one group? Well, if we create one group, we'll have 12 in the group. It's still an even-sized group. And 12 divided by 1 will give us 12. And similarly, 1 times 12 will give us 12. Two different sums that can be used to represent this situation. So now I've circled 1 and 12 as well, on top of our 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the previous cases. And we're left with 5 to consider. Well, for 12, there's no way to create 5 equal groups, and we can see that by doing a division sum. 12 divided by 5 gives us 2.4. So there would be 2 lines in each group, plus 0.4 of a line. Well, we can't do 0.4 of a line, so what we're going to say is that that 5 is not a factor of 12. So I'll put a cross through it. 5, not a factor, because we've got another remainder. And if we look, 5 lots of 2 would make 10, 5 lots of 3 would make 15. There's no whole number that sits between 2 and 3 that'll make 12. So we can discard it. It's not a factor of 12. And now that we've exhausted our list, we know all the factors of 12. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12, and I've listed them over here. So we've done 12. Let's have a go at 15. So to look at the factors of 15, we're going to consider up to half of 15 and 15 itself. So half of 15 is 7.5, so we're going to consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the first ones that we might look at is just a group of one whole group with 15 inside it. So our two factors would be 1 and 15. We can circle them. Now we can't split 15 into 2 even groups. We'd end up with 2 groups of 7 and a group of 1. That's no good. We can show that with the division sum. 15 divided by 2 is equal to 7.5. That half indicates to us that there's a remainder. We'd have to split this last one in half and put half in each group. So because we have a remainder, we can say 2 is not a factor and cross it out. Gone. Now let's try it for 3 groups. Well, we can split 15 into 3 groups. There would be 5 in each group. And we can show that with the division sum. 15 divided into 3 groups has 5 in each group. Similarly, we could do it with a table. 3 times 5 is equal to 15. We can use 3 as a factor. If we multiply it by the whole number 5, that will make the number that we're trying to get. So over here, I've circled 3 and 5 to add to our 1 and 15 that we already found. Now we're going to try and split 15 into 4 groups. Well, that's not possible because it would create a group of 4, another group of 4, another group of 4, and the last one would be 3. They're no longer equal groups. And we can see that with our division sum. 15 divided by 4 gives us 3.75. That's not a whole number, therefore 4 is not a factor. Cross it out. We've already checked 5. Now we can check 6 and 7 the same way we did for 4. 15 divided by 6 gives us 2.5. That's a remainder, it's not a factor. 15 divided by 7 gives us 2.1. So 7 is also not a factor. So I've crossed them out over here. So now that we've exhausted our list, we now know that 1, 3, 5 and 15 are factors. After we get the idea of how to identify factors, we can just work with the list on the right, this thing, and we can ignore most of this. And in fact, we'll do this bit on our calculator, we won't even write it down. Or using our tables if we're good enough. So here we have 21. So half of 21 is 10.5. So I've written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down, and 21 itself. And then I've gone through on my calculator to try and work out which ones are factors and which ones aren't. So 1 times 21 is 21, so 1 and 21 are factors. 3 times 7 is 21, I know that from my tables, so I can circle 3 and 7. And then I'm left with all these other numbers. So I'm going to check them with my calculator. 21 divided by 2 is 10.5. That's got a remainder. It's not a factor. I should cross that one off. Crossed off. The next one to check would be 4. 21 divided by 4 is 5.25. The 0.25 is a remainder, so we can cross it. 21 divided by 5 is 4.2. That's got a remainder. Cross it. Divided by 6. That's got a remainder. Cross it. We did 7 earlier. We're up to 8. 21 divided by 8 is 2.6. That's got a remainder. Put a cross through it. 21 divided by 9 is 2.3. That's got a remainder. Put a cross through it. And 21 divided by 10 is 2.1. That's no good. Put a cross through that. We can now identify the factors because we've exhausted our list. It's 1, 3, 7, and 21. Let's have a go with 24. So if we're looking for the factors of 24 instead, we found out the factors of 21 here. We're trying a new sum now. What are the factors of 24? Well, we can start with 1 times 24 is 24. Circle 1 and 24. We also know that 2 12s are 24. We can circle 2 and 12. We can divide, if we didn't know any more of our tables, so we didn't know our 8 times tables or our 3 times tables well, we could use our calculator. 24 divided by 3, if we got up to 3 now. Well, we found out that 24 divided by 3 gives us a whole number of 8. So that indicates to us both 3 and 8 are factors. Circle 3 and circle 8. You know what? I might start this one again and do it from scratch so you can see what I mean. So half of 24 is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 24. So all the numbers up to half of 24, all the numbers up to half of 24, and 24 itself. Now let's go through this in order. We said 1 and 24 were factors earlier. Circle them. That's this part here done. 2 times 12 equals 24. We should circle 2 and 12. Let's do that. 2 and 12. Now we get to 24 divided by 3. That gives us a whole number of 8, telling us because this is a whole number and this is a whole number, they're factors of 24. So we should circle 3 and 8. Okay. Now here we have 24 divided by 4. That's the next number in our series. And the answer gives us a whole number of 6, indicating that 4 and 6 are also factors. So we can circle those. Then we get up to 5. 24 divided by 5 gives us 4.8. 4.8's got a remainder. That's not a factor. That's why I put a little cross here. So we'll put a cross through it. The next number to check is 7. 24 divided by 7 is 3.4. That's got a remainder. It's a no-go. Then we got up to 9. 24 divided by 9 was 2.7. That's got a remainder. That one gets crossed out as well. 24 divided by 10. That has a remainder. That one gets crossed out. 24 divided by 11. That has a remainder. That gets crossed out too. Now that we've identified all our factors, we can write them out. The factors of 24 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. All these numbers listed here. Now if you can do this step on your calculator and identify your list correctly and then write out what the factors are, you can do these sums really well. And that's all I really have to go through. So thank you everyone.